What's going on, guys? Welcome to PIC Live. This is Ed Gregory from Photos in Color. This is the show where I review your photographs. Now, if you're still here, thank you so much for sticking around. We had a few problems this morning, but it's all done right now. This is where you can send me in your photographs. They're going to come live on my computer screen, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts. If you want to upload a photograph during the show, click on the link in the description. And that is all. So here we go. This is PIC Live. The theme is wide-angle lenses. Here we go. Okay, so here we are. We are back. Thank you so much. This week has been awesome. We have had so many submissions. I don't know how many we've got, like 70, where usually at this point we have far less. So thank you so much for tuning in. It really does mean a lot, and thank you so much for sticking around. At the top of the show, I like to talk about a few things that have been going on, and I'll be doing it throughout. Now, last week was the end of CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Show here in Las Vegas. I did make a video and upload it to YouTube. If you didn't see that video, I would recommend going and taking a look. But we're actually going to play 20, 30 seconds for you right now so you can get a little look at it. So here we go. Printing 3D printers using 3D printers. That's pretty dope. Nikon had this super dope thing where they had these two cameras on these robots that filmed you and filled themselves. That was awesome. See this guy? Joe McNally, right here, chatting away. Awesome. Well, let's take a look at this brand new. Okay, so that was a little bit of the CES show. I actually went around and looked at cars and, I don't know, loads of different things. I reviewed the brand new Nikon lens, which was the, I can't even remember what it was, the 80-400, I think it is. Absolutely incredible lens, so go and watch that video. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about briefly this morning, because literally it happened an hour ago, was DJI just launched their brand new drone. And where's my drone? Here it is. I'm going to talk about this. Now, anybody who's followed me for a while, you will know that I crashed these a lot. This here is the Mavic Pro. It's currently broken. I flew it into something. But this is what this drone looks like. You see? They brought this out about a year ago. It's a Mavic Pro. It is tiny. It flies beautifully. The amazing thing with this is it's supposed to be like basically uncrashable. It flies around things for you. I still managed to crash it. I also have a number of other drones. All of them are currently broken because I'm just not very good at it, but I like them a lot. So we're actually going to play the video. It's called the Mavic Air. We're going to play a little bit that was just launched this morning because we like to share some news. So here we go.
This is the Mavic Air, the newest addition to the DJI family, and another great leap forward for the industry. The Mavic Air takes cues from all of DJI's landmark drones of the past and yields something unique and new in the process. From the sleek chassis to the incredible technology inside it, it's a work of art that produces works of art. It is incredibly compact, so you can take it everywhere. It's exceptionally light, making it nimble in the air without sacrificing stability. The Mavic Air's powerful camera is housed inside a compact 3-axis gimbal system and is the only drone of its size to have.
Okay, so you can see there the brand new Mavic Air. Basically, it's like this, or the DJI Spark. It's small, it does 120 frames a second at 1080, and it shoots in 4K as well. Flies itself around. I think it looks like a great piece of kit. If you're on the market for a drone, I have used a number of DJI products. They're awesome. Do we have a price on it?
$799.
And it's only $799? It's only $799. That is absolutely amazing. Anyway, less of the news. We're going to talk about some other things later on, but let's actually start looking at your photographs. I'm going to have to whip through these today because there are so many awesome photographs. Oh, no, let's start reviewing, then I'm going to come back to next week's vote because we should do the show at some point. Here we go. Let's jump in. I think we can see my screen. Yes, we can. Wonderful.
You're on the lower left.
And now I'm on the lower left because last week you guys spoke to me saying it was frustrating that I was on the lower right.
Sky above.
Who did?
Sky above.
Oh, they're watching as well.
Sky above. You were watching. We listened. We took your note. We rebuilt the macro. We still didn't manage to get on time for the show. But here we go. This was sent in by Pontus Ekaroth, which I believe you actually log in. You join us often. This, I'm going to hide these away over here. It's coming to the develop module so we can actually take a look. This is a stunning, I love the minimalist feeling of this. Let's see what lens this was taken on. Uh-oh. No, not allowed. This week is wide angle. It has to be shot at a focal length less than 30 millimeters. This photograph was taken at 70 millimeters. So I'm going to move on. It is a great photograph. I like the white is white and the black is black, but no, that is not going to show today. Adi Schiller, 20 millimeter lens, beautiful sunset. I think you've captured this really well. I'm not the biggest fan of sunset photos personally, but you've done a great job of this. If we bring in, if I come over here and I select the crop, okay, you can see the grid. I don't know if you can see this on your computer screen, but this is the thirds, and the sun is basically in that top left-hand third, right in the middle, which is just a great example of using the rule of thirds to help you in photography. I think you've done a wonderful job. I think that it's a little dark towards the sand though. So what I would do for that is I'd take my shadows and I'd lift it. And you can see there, in fact, maybe I'd bring up the whole thing, but then bring down my highlights. Before and after, I think I've gone a little bit far with that. It looks a little fake HDR-y, but I think that's a great example. And I actually like the tone that you've got on the sun. So nice work, Addy. Let's keep going. Oh, look at this. This is a photograph of a wide angle lens taken with a wide angle lens. Look at that. That is like double. That is like wide angle squared or square rooted. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, I really like this. Anthony Bonaventure. I think you sign up off. I know, what? I can't do your names. I suck every week at this. I really like this. I actually enjoy the fact that the focus is right here on the eye. It's nice and sharp. Good use of black and white photography. I actually think you've shot on a wide angle lens. You could have stepped back a little bit and got a little bit more in frame. And you've managed to get a really nice shallow depth of field, which is fairly hard to do on a wide angle lens. So great work, and I think it's fun. Very playful, thank you. Cooper Lee. I don't get this. Was this on a, this is, 1635. So this must have been taken at 16 millimeters, and my guess is, maybe this is an older lens, because now what happens is lenses, they correct themselves so that the verticals are still vertical. This is almost a fisheye lens. I'm actually going to bring the exposure up and see what's in the background. So we've got the stars, we've got the trees, and we've got a building down here which is really leaning across. Honestly, it's kind of interesting. It's almost like something that you would see in, what's that show on Netflix? The Stranger Things. It's like Stranger Things would happen right here. I like it. Kind of interesting, a little dark, and you've managed to overexpose your lights down here. So I would have worked on that personally. But yeah, nice, interesting. Oh, look at this black and white photo. Amy likes, Edward likes. I'm so sorry. I said that out loud. I said it in my head, and then it was already out of my mouth before I realized I shouldn't have said it. That was terrible. Uncle jokes. This is great. A great black and white photograph. I like the one tree popping out. You've got nice and low, so we've got all of the other bits of, you know, brush or whatever it is in front. And I like the fact that your whites are just up here, but it's not pure white, and your blacks are nice and dark, but not too dark. We can see that if we look at the histogram in the top. This is a great example here. See how it peaks right in the middle? If you boost these highlights all the way over here, okay, we can extend this, make the blacks blacker and the whites whiter, but I actually think that goes too far with this image. The before, I think here, is that little bit better. The whole thing just needed lifting a little tiny bit, and I just use exposure. Amy, this is a really, really great example of black and white photography, so nice work. Woo, is that London Bridge? No, that isn't. That is Tower Bridge in London. It even says Tower Bridge. Darren, this is great. How interesting. First of all, you've captured all of the different lights and the different colors that they have on the bridge. And I think you've done a wonderful job. Very dramatic sky. I would like to comment, though, on whoever did the lighting design on Tower Bridge, I don't think did a very good job. They've got green, they've got orange, they've got blue, and they've got pink. Why are there so many colors? I would actually, personally, I would fix this. So what I would do is I would basically relight it. So I take all of the yellows and I'd get rid of the yellows and I'd push them towards the orange. And the same as the greens. Look, I'd take the greens and I'd push that towards the yellows. And now the yellow and the orange is almost matched. So I'd actually take the yellows and I'd maybe take that back and boost the oranges. So now this, for me, if I look at the before and the after, I actually think it comes together a little bit better as an image.
Someone said it's a tribute to the Queen's outfits.
Oh!
She always wears yellow and bright pink.
Oh! Snap! Does anybody watch The Queen, that TV show? It is so good.
The Crown.
No, sorry, The Crown. The Queen, the movie, is really good with Helen Mirren.
Oh,
but The Crown, if anybody watches The Crown, no, if anybody doesn't watch The Crown, it's on Netflix. Go watch it. They've done 2 seasons now. Do you watch it? No.
It's so good.
Kev, do you watch it?
I watch it, yeah.
He watches it. Ray, you got to go watch it.
I watch Golden Girls.
It's he watches Golden Girls. It's a little different, but it is beautifully shot.
It's based on true events.
It is based on true events, and you don't actually know what is true and what is not. It's kind of clever. Okay, anyway, let's come back to this. Darren Smith, Tower Bridge. I think this is a great photograph. I love the drama behind it. Again, I think I would want to lift the exposure a hair, just like this. Look at the before and the after. Kind of brings it together. Wonderful example of using a wide-angle lens to capture a full thing, which is Tower Bridge, the thing. Okay, oh, look at this. David Collett, you join in every single week, and we've actually had a few other ones of, I guess, your daughter's jumping. This is Leela. Hello, Leela. Leela Collett. Beautiful photo. Lovely energy. She's got a lot of height.
Oh, I was about to say, is she a dancer?
Is she a dancer? I'm a dancer.
A dancer?
This is beautiful. How has she got... Oh, the floor's there. I thought the floor was like down here. Still, she's got wonderful height, great extension, it's lots of fun. What I would want to see though is the reflection in the water below. I'd love to see the full reflection. So you shot at 29mm on a 12-40. I'd have shot at 16. I'd have got more of it. Made her smaller in the frame, but got that silhouette. But nice way, and it's fairly warm as an image. I think I'd want to cool it down just a hair. You see I brought the temperature to the left, before and after. Just cooled it off a little bit because we still get the colors coming over here. We can boost the vibrance a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. She has a very pretty name. Leela or Lila. Leela, I'm guessing. Or Lila. My niece is called Lily. I just wanted to let you know. That's shares 3 of the same letters.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Ray said nice. My niece is nice. Don Mandley. Ooh, this is moody in a field, a farmer's field that looks like it's flooded. I think that you shot it a little bit late. You needed to be here half an hour earlier because the sun has already set. We've already lost what I would say is probably the most interesting point about this. Isn't the farmer's field that's flooded, but it would be the beautiful sky that's above. You shot at 16mm. I would actually have got lower to the ground and got more of the sky. But for that, you would have wanted to get there for sunset. In fact, that brings us into next week's challenge. This is where you guys get to vote on what it's going to be next week. All you have to do is head over to Instagram and follow photos in color, and then go to the story on photos in color, and you can actually vote on what you want it to be next week. Currently, what are we on here? Ooh, you've got golden hour or cold are your choices, and currently golden hour is winning, hence I came at it from this photo. So go onto there and vote and see what you want. The reason why I've included cold is, well, the reason why I've chosen these two is golden hour does not mean sunset. It could mean sunset, but it could be during sunset, but you could use a portrait, you could do a landscape, you could do a whole plethora of things at golden hour. Same goes for cold. Cold doesn't have to be winter. Cold could be cold iced coffee. Cold could be a shot in a refrigerator. You know, there's a whole range of things that you could take the word cold and use it. So I'm starting to do things like that with the challenges to make them a little bit more interesting. Let's jump in and let's keep on reviewing some photographs. This is Ian Williams, the HSSE Hydro. What's a hydro? I was going to say, is it like a velodrome? Where you, what's a hydro? Does anybody know? Can anybody tell me what a hydro is? Is it? It's like a stadium. It does look like a, but it almost looks really small, like you'd only fit like 30 people in a little circle around it. It's kind of cool. The building's awesome, beautifully designed, and you've captured the image. You've got low, you use the vignette to your advantage, and I love the clouds around the outside. It's kind of white.
It's in Glasgow, so big venue. Yeah.
It's a stadium in Glasgow. Beautiful. It's Glasgow in Scotland is what I'm guessing. I think you may have used clarity on this, but I think you've used it to your advantage. I don't usually, I can see this because I can see some white fringing around the outside, maybe. But either way, I think this is a wonderful photograph. Congratulations. This is how to use a wide angle lens. Get the full stadium, get low, get the drama. Wonderful. 18mm Laura Wall. Okay, so this is a nice long shutter speed. So you've taken this third of a second, which means that this is how we've got these beautiful drawn out lines of the water down here, which is a great example of how to capture the energy of water. I'm guessing this is a mill, an old mill, maybe, I don't know what type of mill it would be. There's all of the water coming down. It looks like this is coming straight out of the factory. Wherever this is, it looks cool. Is it now a museum or is it literally still a working mill? I want this office. I want the office here, overlooking this. And I would go to this place here. There's a cafe at the top. That's where I'd have lunch. Really great. The only challenge that you've had here, though, is you've not taken it on a tripod. So you've actually got some movement, which means that although this is blurry, the buildings are also blurry. So just try and get that on a tripod. Oh, look at this. Fire Island Queen and Fire Island Flyer. The Vagabond, another thing. So Brandon Mooney, thank you for tuning in. You tune in every single week. Really great. The problem that you've got here, though, is you've blown out your sky. You see, there's no detail left in the sky whatsoever. What I would have done is exposed for the sky, so this would have been very underexposed. Then I would have lifted from the shadows to bring that detail back.
Brandon Mooney said, this was shot on a Pro Optic 8mm fisheye lens, f8. Couldn't find the lens profile for this, unfortunately.
Whoa, what? It was 8mm? Mm-hmm. Wow. That is a cool wide-angle lens, which is how we've actually got the separation of the boats. My guess is even standing there, they didn't seem that separated. Great photograph, lovely use of that lens and very extreme angle. Yeah, I didn't even look at it was clearly a wide-angle lens. But yeah, just try and expose for your highlights and then bring detail out of the shadows. You can't bring detail out of highlights. Okay, keep on going. Oh, look at this. Oh. I mean, 24mm, as a photo, I'm not in love with it. As an experience, you guys are crazy. It looks like you're literally on the side of a road that you've jumped over this, like off a highway, motorway, and you've gone and got in some water. That looks so cold. But I like it. I like your swimming costume. So as a photo, there's some challenges with this. It's not level, for starters. It's not really framed in an interesting way because you've got people doing things in the background. As a bunch of people doing crazy things, I think is absolutely awesome. Is this a group of people that go around getting in cold, like water, like that's what they do? Do you think that's what happens? They just drive along and go like, ooh, that river looks cold. Let's get in it.
They're wearing gloves though.
Maybe they're always prepared. Maybe they travel prepared for cold weather. Yeah, I mean, Daniel Adamski, I know you tune in a lot. Photograph, not in love with. Experience, awesome. Oh, look at this from Alec Polzin. This is what I love about a sunset, is it's kind of muted. Often what people do is this with a sunset, and they start like making sunsets go crazy. This is kind of muted colors. You've got, I'm guessing it's 2 children or 2 people at least playing in the ocean. I love the blur over here. I think this is a wonderful example. You've even got, you've got a DJI Mavic. No, that's not a Mavic. That's a, what was the other one's called? The DJI, I had one. The drone that I broke. The Phantom. That's a Phantom drone up there. I kind of wish it wasn't there. In fact, let me show you how to get rid of that without going to Photoshop. You take the spot healing brush, which is at the top here. You make it the size of the object. And what I actually like to do is I would feather this a little bit. All I'm going to do is I'm going to paint over that to get rid of it. And then it's going to choose something else that it looks like it. And I will come out. The drone is gone. Vanished. So that's what I would personally have done with that. Outside of that, I think it is a wonderful... unless, wait a minute. The boy is looking at the drone.
You ruined it.
I get it. I ruined your photo. So I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to select on this point. I'm going to delete it. I get it. Sorry. Alec, ruined your photo. Alan Begic. Bosnia and Herzegovina. I went for it. Herzegovina. Yeah, I get it. 20 millimeters. I'm going to say that you were that close to the building, you needed more like a 16 or 14 millimeter because you've only just got the top of the building in. You're just too close. I get it. I think you're too close, and also the sky's completely blown out. So you either want to expose for the highlights or switch out and post and put a different sky in, because at the moment it's just a little bit boring, to be honest with you. 2 more photographs, then we're going to go to questions, right, Rosie? We have questions. I love questions for question time. Alec Alpha Omega. Ooh. Is that your, Alex, have you tuned in? Is that your actual name? Ask Alex if that is his actual name, if you're here. Alex Alpha Omega. I'm going to become Delta Theta. My name is Ed Delta Theta. This, I don't get it. I think this was and this was shot on, what's it called when you make your camera negative? Because the sky is brown. And there's some kind of, the contrast looks so interesting. I think this has got a conversion on your camera to shoot in infrared. I think this is an infrared photo. Alex, is this an infrared photo? I think it is. Or I've just got it completely wrong. I love it. I think it's very interesting. The colors of it, I would say, like, what about black and white? Looks great, but something about this yellow sky, it's like there's been fire or something somewhere. It's really great. Interesting photo. I think I'd make it wider. I think I'd bring it in and make it more of a widescreen image. Something more like that adds that little bit of extra drama there. And then next one. Oh, okay. So what we've got here is a 14 millimeter because you've wanted to get the helicopter inside the hangar. I think you've done a great job. The challenge here, though, is that we don't have the propellers in it. Are they propellers? They are propellers on helicopters still, aren't they? They're not forward. No, they're not propellers. On a helicopter, is it a propeller? I thought a propeller is at the front.
No, it's the same thing, just propeller.
It's the same thing. So yeah, that thing. You've not got all the propellers in. So a way to do that, obviously, is get an even wider angle lens or move away from it and then zoom in, because then that changes the distortion. Outside of this, though, I think it's a really nice photograph. You've got your white balance correct. I think you're a little warm. This is a little bit better on your white balance, I think. But it's a nice photograph. What's it for? Police? What's that? No, anchor. Oh, is that like a sea rescue? Yeah, cool. If that's your job, good for you, Brian Spur. Awesome. Oh, that was 2. Rosie, question time. Question times. Question times with Rosie. Here we go.
Question time. Okay.
I'm going to drink some coffee.
This is from Helen. She asked this at the very, very beginning.
Helen Jenkins?
Yes.
Helen Jenkins Knight. I even know your surname. You tune in every week, and I love you for that.
She's from the UK.
I know. Whoop, whoop, UK!
She is asking your recommendations on computers. She needs to get a computer that's just going to be for photo editing, but she doesn't want to spend a lot. So what would you... Or what is important for her to look at?
Great. What is important when looking at computers? Okay, so a lot of people get carried away with, oh, I need this and that, and they try and buy things. What just happened?
Nothing. I'm just really close.
Oh, you were very close. You look great, though. You're so beautiful. So computers, yes. I use Apple Mac computers because they're extremely stable. Their software is... All software works really fast on it, and I love it. But I also understand it comes at a very high price. In the studio here, we have a bunch of iMacs. I have the new MacBook Pro, whatever it is. So that's a lot of money, and not everybody has that money or needs to spend that much, and you don't need to. There's a few important things to think about when buying a computer. Number 1 is how much space do you need on it hard drive-wise? My advice is you keep all of your photographs on external hard drives. Don't keep anything on your computer because it will slowly slow down your computer. So keep all of your photos on an external hard drive, keep Lightroom on the computer, and then back it up somewhere else, and then back up your photos onto a second hard drive. So therefore, at least 1 terabyte of hard drive space, because now programs are getting bigger. Okay, so you don't, if somebody tries to sell you one for 250 gigabytes, it's not going to be enough hard drive space. And then the other thing is RAM. That's called random access memory. That is actually what your computer uses to do the editing and to do all of those things. So you want to look at your RAM. I would recommend nowadays, I wouldn't take anything with less than 8 gigabytes of RAM, and I would definitely go for 16 gigabytes of RAM because you're buying for longevity. Okay, like my computers here will keep for 6-7 years, and they keep running really well. And then the other thing to look at is what's called, it's your clock speed. So that's how fast it can do processes. Now, that is important, and that's all the numbers that you see. You know, it's a 4.2 gigahertz and all of that stuff. Look, the higher number, the better, but really it might just slow you down a little bit, but it will still get through your photographs. So, and then the other thing is the screen. Remember, you're a visual artist. So get a high quality screen on your computer or buy an external monitor. Apple laptops and computers, all of their screens are calibrated the same. So as we only use Apple, meaning that all of our screens are calibrated correctly. But if you're not using a calibrated one, either get it calibrated or just get a computer with a good quality screen. Because remember, you're going to sit there and stare at it a lot. 1080 HD isn't high enough for a computer screen at all. That's fine for a TV, but you sit a long way away from a TV. You want to get something which is way, way higher in resolution. It doesn't have to be 4K, but I definitely get at least more than 3,500 pixels wide. My recommendation. Another question, let's go for it.
I've got a quick one and I'm going to mix 2 together.
Ooh, a quickie and a doubly.
A quickie and a doubly. So someone was asking, do you do internships? Ever?
Do I do internships ever? I have never done an internship. I would love to do an internship. I'm just based in Vegas, and usually internships means that you are on location here. But if you are around here, then we could do. And let me also say this. If anybody's got ideas for photos in color and Ed Gregory, the whole online thing can build, please let me know. Drop me an email. Go to photosincolor.com. There's a form that you can write to me. Go and check that out. Oh, look at this. You can go here. Well, that's the live section. Oh, I don't know where it was here. But just go to photosincolor.com and there's a contact form there. Never done internships, but there is something I want to bring up that we discussed. And I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm thinking about doing meetups. Would anybody be interested in doing a meetup? So one way of doing a meetup would be, I travel quite a lot. Each city I go to, maybe I'll just put it out there and then we can do a meetup and just do like a 2 or 3 hour art walk where we'll walk around and we can interact and hang out and you can ask me loads of questions. It'll be awesome and fun. And then the other thing is maybe we go away for a week and then a bunch of you could come away and we go on holiday together and we do a full, you know, like 4-day training or something, but we'll do something really awesome. Would anybody be interested in that? If they are, I don't know, get in touch. Lots of yeses. Because I think this is the thing with learning. This is great that we do this. Great. So the great thing is that if you are there with me, with a camera, we can really get in there and discuss. And we do that, I do that with people all the time. So I'd love to do it for you guys. And then on that, I'm going to be in the UK later this year. Not got any dates yet, but I know a lot of people tune in from the UK. Would people want to do a meetup in the UK somewhere central like London, where we meet up for, say, you know, an afternoon and we hang out together? We go get some food, some restaurants, but then we also walk around and do a whole art walk. Get in touch if you're interested. photosincolor.com/contact. I don't even know if it's that. My mom is calling. Should we answer the phone to my mom? I don't know what she's gonna say. Hold on, I'm gonna do this live. Mom, I'm live on YouTube. Right. You're currently live on YouTube. Can I call you? My mom, this is my mom. Right? Yeah, well, there you go. I'm gonna have to leave you. I'll call you in a bit. Okay, that's fine, darling. Okay, love you. Bye. Oh, that's my mom. How cool was that? So anyway, that was that. And then we've got one more question, then more reviews.
So I'm just putting these into one question.
Yes.
We've got a question about recommendations for a tripod and how much you should spend on a tripod. And then also, same goes with a camera, not wanting to spend too much, but what camera do you recommend?
What cameras do you recommend and what tripods do you recommend? Number one with tripods, do not scrimp on your tripod. We currently have 2 tripods set up here, and I don't know how many tripods we've got in the studio. The very first tripod I purchased was this one here. Kev, could you have a look at, on the leg, it will say what tripod that one is. It is a Manfrotto tripod. No, actually the next one. It's on, that one is the first ever one that I did. He's actually on the floor right now. Here we go. Kev, you're on the floor. Let's put him live. This is Kev crawling around. Does it say? It should say on the leg somewhere. It's like printed. Anyway, buy a heavy tripod. That is the key to all of these things. A Manfrotto tripod. I've actually purchased a few other ones recently. I bought a Slik, S-L-I-K. I bought those. They're a little cheaper and quite lightweight. Yes, it is Manfrotto. Is there a code on it though?
Manfrotto 055XPP0B.
Oh, that's just its reference number. Okay, I can't remember what it was. But heavy. Tripods, it's all about the weight. If you go and buy a $25 tripod, one, it's gonna break. Just walk across in front, Kev. It's fine. Here we go. There's Kev. Boom! They will break, and the head that comes with it will be made of plastic, and as you tighten it, it will crack over time. If it gets cold, it will break, and you'll just have to buy more of them. My first tripod, I think I spent £180 on the tripod. It came with a cheaper head on it, but that was 12 years ago, and I still use it all the time. It goes away with us all the time, and it's awesome. So buy something heavy and buy something that lasts a long time. When it goes for cameras, buy something which is just choose your price range and then buy into a system. That's what I would say. So just choose. You're going to shoot with Nikon, you're going to shoot with Sony, you're going to shoot with Canon, Nikon, Sony, Pentax, all of those ones. Just take a look around and see what you can get. I would personally look at the mirrorless cameras at the moment, although they come in quite expensive because it's a newer technology. If you were to jump into Canon or Nikon, then you could actually get a D5100, you know, a DX, which is a crop sensor camera with kit lenses for a few $100s. That's what I would do, because then photography isn't about the equipment. It just isn't. We always talk about this, but it's about getting out there and taking thousands and tens of thousands of photographs. So just get a camera in your hand and take photos. There you go. Let's jump back in. We're going to continue to look at your photographs here. Got a lot to get through, so I'm going to start busting through these. Let's see this. Where do we get to? Oh, we did that one. Here we go. Okay, so this one, it's a little bit snapshotty. Chad Mangum, 17mm, nice wide angle shot. But if you look, everything is going to the side of the frame here. So what it means is there's no real focus because there's branches everywhere. Okay, we get that this is down here. This is the focus, but this is also a little blurry actually. It's not perfectly sharp. So I would be careful of that. And also just your framing, it's a little boring, to be honest with you. Chris Briggs, beautiful, beautiful, 18mm, great example of landscape. I think it's not straight to my eyes. Now that looks straight. I really like this. I would want to bring out the colors. Okay, it's a little, so I like the blues, but if I warm this up, if you've seen, if I take the temperature and I just warm this up, the blues are still completely present. Okay, and then I'm going to look at my greens, and I'm actually going to boost my saturation of the green, and I'm actually going to lift down here. If you watch what happens, look, if I lift the luminance of my greens, look what just happens there. It really starts coming to life. I'm going to bring my blues down. So now we'll look at the before and the after. See how we've changed that? We've got rid of that blue tinge, and we've really brought it to life and really warmed it up. So great work, and I really like the framing of this. So nice work, Chris Briggs. Look at this. Black is black and white is white. That is a great example of black and white photography. I think it's a little dark, so I'm going to lift up my shadows. Oh, and you've also got some green in it. Anybody else see that with their eyes? Black and white? There you go. So I click the black and white. If you're going to make something black and white, guys, in Lightroom, there is a button that says black and white. That cuts all color. And I personally think if you're gonna do it black and white, make it black and white. And it's also not level. It's not Phil Neville level. So now I've made it Phil Neville. I'm gonna start using Phil Neville as the word for level. But I think, you know, it's got some drama to it. It's actually perfectly in your thirds. So if you look here, right on that third line is where you've got this line on the road, and near the horizon is pretty much on that other third line, which makes it natural to look at, nice and pleasant. I think you've done a good work there, George. George, I think it's George Ernst. You tune in every week, so just make sure that you really do crop things correctly. And if it's black and white, click black and white. Ooh, this looks like, this has a beautiful filmic feel to it. So this is an example where we have blown out our whites, and I know that because if I try and bring the detail back, you see there's nothing there. However, in this instance, because we're looking straight at the sky, and because of the color grade, I actually think it works. It was taken at 11mm. That is wide. You can see, but we've still got the blur here on the flowers, but our focus is bang on here with the tree. You know what? It's an interesting photo, and I think it works. I really do. It goes against some of the things that I would usually say, like exposed for the highlights. But in this instant, I think, Gonzalo, you have nailed it. Good work. Oh, look at this one. Wide angle lens. Harry Seville. I like this. You've got a long exposure on this, 10 seconds, which is why we've got all of these streets and the cars moving. I think it's worked as an image. I think the colors are a little a little crazy. We've got some bluey green at the top, and then we've got the orange, and then we've got purple on the buildings. And if I white balance these, I think it's going to get a little crazier. It does. It all goes a little bit blue. I'm actually going to use one of my presets on this. I have my Lightroom presets. It's called PIC presets. Just go to photosyncolor.com or picpresets.com and you can get all of these. I'm going to go to urban film because this is an urban photo, and I'm actually going to go to urban lights specifically because they are urban lights. And now with one click, that's all I had to do. And if I just lift my exposure before and the after, I think this image has now come together fairly dramatically. And while I'm in here, I'm also going to show you a few other ones. We've got Washed. That looks great. We've got City Life. I love City Life. This really adds a lot of color to everything. But this is a wonderful photograph and a really great job. So nice work, Harry Seville. Harry Jiang. I just love it that all you guys tune into this show. Isn't this great? This is wonderful. What have we got here? This is a long exposure. This is a very wide angle lens. I have no idea how wide it is. It's got to be 12 millimeters. Doesn't tell me. You've not kept in your EXIF data. Oh, guys, please send me your EXIF data because that way I can actually see what you shot it with. But even so, you've nailed your sharpness on here, so it means that you were shooting this on a tripod. My guess is a heavy tripod, so you got no movement. You probably used a long shutter, well, you definitely used a long shutter speed, but you probably put it on a timer so that there was no shake even when you pressed it. Perfect timing, and you haven't gone too long on the exposure that the water is too kind of silk-like. It still has the energy to it, probably half a second to that. Wonderful example of that type of photograph. The only thing that I'm not in love with is the sky in the background. I just wish that it wasn't purple. Is that just me? I don't know what I'd do about it. I might even take the sky out and put a different sky in. Maybe a graduated filter. Let me just add this, reset this, and I'm actually going to take down my saturation. Yeah, that hasn't worked either. Oh, actually, maybe it has worked. Let's see. I pulled out the saturation from the sky, maybe too much, but that works a little bit better for me because it's not taking the focus away. But either way, Harry Jiang, wonderful work. Okay, wide angle. It's some prawns and some cucumber. This is very much a snapshot. Our focus is in the middle. I don't even know if you've done any editing on it. I think this needs some work overall. Definitely need some work on that. Okay, Ivan Matthew, you tune in all the time. This is a fisheye lens. This has got to be 8 millimeters. This must be that wide. You've not included the EXIF data, so I can't actually see that. But that is a wide angle lens. So you're not going to be able to correct it. I think that it was either shot as an HDR or we've created a bit of a fake HDR out of it. I think it's too flat.
Samyang 8mm.
It was an 8mm. That'd been funny. I just nailed that. Beautiful, but I think it's a little bit too much of an HDR. So what you've done there is you brought your highlights all the way back and you've lifted all of your shadows up is what you probably did. I'm now going to reverse that and I'm going to go a little bit more like this, before and the after. It's going to make it come to life that little bit more. But as a wide angle photograph, that is stunning. It's crazy. I don't even know what I'd do with that photograph, but it looks great. Very cool shot. Oh, Bob B Miniatures. No, Joe B. Joe B. So this is, it's a photograph of some toys, but with a real sunset in the background. I don't know if you did this live, or you did it in post-production. My guess is it was done live. You set something up, you photographed it with a sunset in the background, but you nailed this. You absolutely nailed it. This is the golden hour. Like I wouldn't change a single thing about this at all. I think it's fun. I think it's playful. At first glance, you think it's two actual people. Absolutely nailed that, Joe. I don't know if you do this more often, but can you send in more of your miniature photography? Because it's so much fun. Joshua Fritz, great photograph. Too much sharpening. So you can see this with all of these circles. See this? Way too much sharpening on this image. And I also think that you need to make your blacks blacker. Okay, it's all a bit flat actually, isn't it? It's dramatic, it's interesting, but it's a bit too flat for me. Let's rotate this. Okay, Justin Dusser, your name, Justin. Wide angle lens, it's probably 12 millimeter or something on this. You're a little bit lower, it looks like it's also in a church. Oh, it should go this way. Again, everything goes to the edge and there's no real focus to it, really. I think you need to be under this central point at the top here for this to really work out. Karam, yeah, it's a bit of a weird photo, to be honest with you. It's 64 millimeters I'm getting off it, it's not wide angle. Karam Alchawa, I don't know if this is a wide angle lens. It's not a wide angle lens. There's no way that's wide. This is a wide angle lens. Guys, please stick to the theme each week. What am I doing? I want to press 18 millimeters. There we go. Wonderful photo. It's too dark. So you're going to have to bring out your shadows so you can actually see what's going on. And I think that there's just too much purple. I like the purple. I just think there's too much of it. So I don't know if you can bring your saturation down of your magentas maybe a little bit. That's a little bit more. But I think you just pushed your vibrance too far. Something a little bit more like this is a little bit more natural. Stunning sunset though. Stunning from Marco Aresi. Where is that? I'm going to say that it's, what's it called? Italy. Holland. Italy? No, I think that's in Holland.
The billboard's in Spanish.
Oh, the billboard's in Spanish.
Or Portuguese,
I think. Portugal. So maybe it's in Portugal. Okay, Mark Dyer. Okay, I mean, I like it. It's dramatic. It's interesting. You've got a boat on a lake, a long exposure. We know that because the water's blurred out. It was at, half a second. But I just don't think the boat is interesting. It was Italy. Rosie, nailed it! Whoop, whoop. I don't think the boat is the most interesting. It's one of those ones which is a tin bottomed of a boat. So it means that our main feature here is a sheet of metal, essentially. I think you need to move backwards and get more of the surroundings in. What? Oh, I'm just holding my coffee. It's like an advert right now.
It is. It's like you're advertising Starbucks.
This is not a paid promotion, I should say that. Okay, Matt Wood. I think your sun is a little too, it's the wrong yellow. So I would go to my yellows and I'd warm it up like this. See how that changed? I just went to yellow and I moved it away from the green side and pushed it towards the orange side. And look how that instantly changes that photograph before and after. And now it looks like a beautifully warm, exciting image shot at golden hour. It's over some boats on a river. I want to see all the boats. It's got to be wider or you've got to be further away. Personally, I think that I don't know where to look in this photograph. Oh, look at this. This is a building, St. Petersburg. So we've got the reflection going on down here, clearly at golden hour as well. Lots of blue, so the sun is obviously behind us on the left and we're getting that beautiful sun just here. I really like it as a photograph. I think your composition window, you've matched it perfectly going through the middle. You've gone 10 millimeters, so you couldn't have gone much wider. Yeah, nice photo. Nice work. Nice, Maximilian Cool. Oh, so a few things with this. You've obviously shot straight into the sun, clearly, because it's in front of us. And we've got the blue sky, we've got the fields. My guess is you're moving in a vehicle, which is why we have the grass looks like water. This is a great technique. If you're moving fast, it means that you can actually get some blur because it's close to you. Why aren't the clouds blurred? Because they're further away, so the interaction with the lens is very different. The problem is here, I guess you're on a train and the window is dirty. So that's showing up absolutely everything on here. Malgazarte Moll, write to me if you're here and tell me, was this taken on a train and was it moving? And did I get that right? Because I hope I did. I think it's a great photo and I like the edit. Primary colors. No, it's not. Green isn't a primary color. That's a tertiary color. Secondary color. I don't know. It's a color. Long shutter speed, which is why we've got the blur down here, but I think you've blown out this here, and as an image, it's fine, but I just don't like the blue. I don't like the color palette. Maybe it would work better in black and white. I don't know.
I think this is him.
Yes, what's he saying?
Because my wife took it when I was driving a car.
Okay, so it's driving a car, not a train, but it's still a moving vehicle. Wind your window down. There you go. If you're in a car, that's why I thought it was a train. Because if it was a car, you'd wind your window down so you didn't get the dirt. Or your lens was dirty. That may have been it.
It's a cold day, though.
It was. But we have to go through the pain for photography. Okay, let's keep going. Nico. This is cool. So long exposure, which I like. We're a little blurry on everything though. And if you look here on the edit, we've completely tried to bring something back in the whites, which means that this guy's coat has got a little crazy. But I think it's an interesting photograph, obviously taken at night, and we've managed to bring daylight to an image by doing a very long exposure of a second. I like it. I think I'm going to use a PIC preset on this. I'm going to use this one, City Mute. Look at that. Oh, yeah, that's good. Now let's go for a day. Let's see what daylight film would do to something taken at night. Let's see if we can add anything. Well, it's going to add a little bit of drama to it. Oh, I like this one. This is what I would do to this photograph. Look at that before and the after. Brings it to life. Looks pretty damn cool. Let's keep going. Oh, look at this dog. Oliver Hadel, you tune in every week. This is a close-up photograph of a dog. Now, the challenge that you've got here, dogs move a lot, but the focus is halfway down his nose. You either need to focus on the wet nose or on the eyes. We're a little bit in the middle at the moment. So work on your focus. Outside of that, I think this is a great, great photograph. Okay, we're going to pause for a quick moment. We still have 10 minutes to go. I know that we're running over by a long way, but we didn't actually start till 20 past. So we're going to have to run over because we had a few issues. I want to talk about right now about a video that I launched that I posted 2 days ago. It was one that I actually talked about a while ago. It's to do with Oliver Lyon. This company, this is not a paid promotion, by the way, but they did send me some luxury watches that I nearly dropped. Sent me 2 of these. They are beautiful. I'm actually giving one of these watches away because I don't need 2 of these watches. The video, but the reason why I'm talking about it is a product photography video, and I talk about lighting very specifically and how to create lighting in camera. Most of this video, most of this photograph was taken without doing any editing. I just did a little bit of editing to pull out a little bit of the background. That was basically it. We used focus stacking. It took us about 5 hours to shoot this. I love the photograph. You can actually see the photograph on the Instagram, Photos in Color. Check it out there. But go watch the video. We're going to play a little bit for you right now. And a graduation as it comes through here, and that's how we're going to get these beautiful fade lights on the side. With product shots, it's really important that before you actually take the shot and you get it in its final position, you polish and clean each element. You always need to practice how you want the actual setup to be. It's not always just you dump them on top of each other. And this allows you to really set the product in a position that makes it look the best. How did we have it? I don't even remember. Floppy, so it's got to be stronger. Work through the focus of the entire image, front to back. Take about 8 shots, moving through the different focal points and merge that in Photoshop. Importantly, we mustn't move. Okay, so that was a little snapshot of that video. Go and check out the whole thing. I'm really proud of this video. It took a long time to film and actually figure out how to show it to you. Got featured on fstoppers.com, ISO1200.com, all of these great websites. So I'm very proud of it, and it's always awesome to be featured on those websites. So please go like it, share it, comment on it, all of that good stuff. Also, let's look at the vote on Instagram. We are currently at 57% golden hour, 43% cold. Head over, photosincolor.com. No? Instagram. Photosincolor. Make your vote. Let's keep going. What are you laughing at? Do we have any more questions?
No.
Rosie's given up reading questions. I think Rosie's given up today reading questions. She's like,
We got through them. Unless there's any more.
No, brought to you by Awesome Coffee. You know, if I cut myself, I bleed coffee. Literally, just pours out of me. Okay, let's come back here. Rafal Zmer. Is that a name? Zmer. Black and white photography, cornfield, single tree, absolutely wonderful. Anybody, can you guess what I think is the challenge of this? Too much clarity. Why is there too much clarity, and how can I tell that there's clarity? Look down here on this where we've got high contrast, the blacks to the whites. We have a perfect white line straight above the black. And when I add clarity, watch this, I'll show what happens. Look, you see this. What you get around this tree, you get this weird haze thing. And I think you've used too much clarity on this. You see? Or it's a fake tree. Oh, Rafal Zmer, you may have added a fake tree to this. Even so, I don't care. It's freaking awesome. And I love the rays of light that are coming down and just picking out this. Wonderful photo. Good job. Shagun Damadia. It's a bit of a snapshot. It's not particularly, it's 3.57 millimeters. It's not. I was taken on a phone, I think, because it would be, it's not. I'm going to move on from that. Sorry.
It's not fake. It's not fake.
Oh, good. Did you use clarity?
He said he wanted to delete it.
No, don't delete the tree. It looks great.
I don't know. That's what he said.
Okay, wonderful. Ooh! They're fake, right? That's fake beams of light. Do you think? I don't know. They look too divine. They look too split. This is from Stygian. I mean, I have no problem with people adding things.
They're not fake.
These aren't fake beams of light?
He just wrote no, so I guess they're not fake.
Wow. That is awesome. That is absolutely incredible. They're like perfect beams of light. And for that one reason, I love it. I also like the color toning that you've got in this factory of sorts. What a fantastic industrial photograph. The only thing I don't like, for me, and I'm just the guys sitting in this room know, I'm very particular when it comes to color. For me, is this an HDR?
Yeah, so
This was a high dynamic range image.
Belgium.
It's from Belgium. The color palette here, we're a little yellow up here compared to the orange. So I would actually take my yellows and push it towards the oranges. And I'd actually take my oranges and push them towards the red slightly. And that, for me, kind of ties that image together. If you look at the wall here, it now ties into the lights on the back. So nice work, though. Beautiful, beautiful job. Samantha, it's a little dark overall. It's a sunset shot, too high contrast, I think. It is a wide angle shot, but I just think that it's too heavy on the color. It's a little too heavily processed for me. Swapnil Tiwari, you join in a lot. So this here we have this building. It's a nice photograph, but because it's a wide angle lens, you see it's tilting backwards and everything's a little distorted. Two things you can do in Lightroom is you can come down here to lens corrections and you can go remove chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections. Now it doesn't know what it was taken on. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go make tonica, because because it was taken, oh, there's no tonica on here, that's why. So it was an 11 millimeters. So what you can do is you can go into manual, okay? Distortion, and you can actually try and bring it back somewhere like this, and I'll constrain the crop. I think I've gone too far. Somewhere like this. And what you can then do is come down here, and you can actually try and make it upright. I don't think it will work with this image. I'll show you what happens here if I do guided. So I want to bring this here, make these vertical, but it's going to go too extreme. They kind of looks funny. It looks like a funny house at that point. But that is how you can make something upright. Just wanted to show that. Overall, nice image, a little dark, and I don't like this. I don't love the sky. I think that it's a little bland. You've overexposed the sky. Let's keep going. Purple. What's happening, Rosie? Oh, I thought you were talking about. Oh, dancing. We're dancing over here right now.
It looked like you were.
So, this is interesting. Very purple and a little hazy back there, but I don't mind it. The problem is the focus of this image is right here on nothing, because we've got this light over here. So, I mean, what you can do for this is you can bring in a radial filter, like so, and you can just kind of fake some light over here, and then bring in a vignette over on that section. Where's my vignette? Here. So you can try and do something like that to bring in the focus, but for me, the focus is on the edge of the pond, lake, whatever it is. Taj, I'm not going to say your last name. No idea how to say that. Snowy river lake thing. Beautiful. 10 minutes to go. I just got my 10 minutes call, ladies and gentlemen. 10 minutes. We got loads of photographs, so I'm going to have to work really fast now. Beautiful. Great photograph. I got a 50 millimeter lens. Skip. This is a wide angle lens, guys. 20 millimeters. Okay, so love it. I like the composition. We've got this in the middle. We've got these actual buildings frame it. There's a few challenges here. Number one, we have chromatic aberration, which is the pink on the side here. Fortunately, Lightroom gets rid of that for you. So all you have to do is come down to Profile, remove chromatic aberration, and you see it's got rid of it. Basically, what it does is it looks at all of your high contrast elements, looks for purples and greens inside those elements, and pulls out the saturation. That's what Lightroom does. Great job. The second problem that you've got here is this. You have exposed for this part of the building. What you should have exposed for is this part of the clouds. So if I try and bring back those highlights, you can see there is no detail there whatsoever. And if you would have exposed for that, this would have been dark, and all you would have had to do, so I'll give you, the photograph would have been more like this, but these would have been perfect. And then all you'd have done is you'd have pulled the shadows, and you actually lifted the exposure, and you'd have got all that detail back just there. So great work on the framing, just exposed for those highlights. Under the Sea, Under the Sea. Is that a song? How does it go? How does it go?
Like that.
Yeah, but what else happens?
Na, 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 na.
Isn't that the French one?
Yeah.
It's the
crab.
The crab. I don't know. He's Caribbean. The Caribbean crab. Okay, so this is great. I mean, we're under the ocean, so it's challenges here, and I can guarantee the issues with this is what happens is if I you can't do it. Underwater, you don't get very much color. Color is reduced dramatically, and you often have to put a red filter in. It's good. Was this a fish tank, or are you under the water? I would love to know the answer to that. I think you're actually scuba diving. Oh yeah, there's another scuba diver. Unless you have a scuba diver inside your fish tank.
You can get pink ones, can't you? So it could be.
You can. So first of all, what I would do is I'd remove the other scuba diver. So I'd go meh, 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 by using that, and then it goes ta-da, gone. And then I think there's a little too much color. So I'm going to pull down the vibrance here. So I like it. The challenge is here, the fish is very well camouflaged, but it's a wonderful underwater photo. I'm a scuba diver. In fact, I'm a rescue diver. I've done all of my qualifications up to being a rescue diver, meaning that I can legally, if someone's in danger, I can go in and rescue them. I love scuba diving, and being under the ocean is so beautiful. It's like peaceful. You just disappear and float around. In fact, do I have a video? No, I don't. I have some videos that I took underwater, but they're not on YouTube, so ignore that. Let's keep going. Alan Watson, Walk in the Park. Okay. Oh, this is beautiful. Unfortunately, it's blurry. You needed, so it's 1/320th, you were moving too much. And it means that everything, there's no sharpness to it, so I can't really get into it. And your highlights are a little light bright on this, so I'd have brought the whole thing. Maybe actually I'd have done that, the whole thing in a little bit. And also the colors over here, I'd want autumnal, is that sort of thing, isn't it? So I'm gonna come in here and I'm going to go for, I think, autumn. Look at this, I'm gonna click in here and I've gone into this pick presets and I've clicked my lens calibrations, I've clicked autumn, and now if you look, we've brought in complete autumn colors with just one click. And I think that now brings this image completely to life. Let's keep going. Okay, this is nice. You've reduced your contrast. So it means that it became a little flat as an image. 5 minutes to go. Nice photograph though. I think you need it to be wider or less wide and tight and actually get into some of the city. But I like the pastel feeling of that photo. Ooh, look at this from Giuseppe Salvini. Beautiful, 24mm. I think it's a little dark. I think I'll lift your shadows or lift everything up a little bit and bring back your blacks. I think that's, yeah, it's a little bit more interest. I like it. I actually think you could have gone for a longer shutter speed on this and blurred out the ocean and got that beautifully smooth. Then you'd have got the reflection of the sky in the ocean. Outside of that though, great work. Keep on keeping on. Oh, look at that. That looks like an English countryside, doesn't it? Just there, hanging out in the UK, overlooking. I like it. Your blacks are a little too black for me, but I think that you probably don't have much of a choice because you don't want to ruin your image. Yeah, I like it. I'd have got lower to the subject. I'd have got down a little bit from his perspective, but a nice example of a wide angle photo. Ooh, 18mm, nice and wide, purple. Okay, that's your problem. That's the problem with snow, is what happens is the camera gets very confused. So I'm just gonna try white balancing from a few different areas. That's where we've really nailed the white balance. Now your whites are white. I'm gonna actually lift it up and I'm gonna blow out the sky even more. Nice, I think that you could have, I was gonna say angled down a bit, but you didn't want to lose the tree. But I think you framed it really well. I think it's nice. I like the mist and the fog. That's cool. Let's keep on keeping on. Whoa, that's gotta be what, 10mm? Even wider, 8mm? Oh, it says it here, 10.5mm. There you go. I mean, I think that's wider than 10mm. Oh, it's a 10mm fisheye. It's not got a correction on it. Because that there, I mean, we've just curved in the trees into them. This is dramatic. This is awesome. I love the framing. What I think, though, is that the edit is, I don't know if it's been edited. That's the thing. I think that it needs a bit of I'm going to go with this Superior, this Fuji Superior on it. I think that works. It just brings it to life that little bit more before and the after. Yeah, it just brings everything out. Great photo, though. Great use of a wide-angle lens to get really close to those bamboo shoots. Beautiful. Oh, look at this. We are looking at Anders Jevny. You've got a name. It is an icy waterfall, and look at this. The ice is actually cracked. If I was there, you know what I would have done? I would have put my arm in there just to see if I would dare, in case it collapsed. Or put my head in there just to risk it. Welcome to my life. That's exactly what I think about, isn't it, Rosie? I'm like, ooh, what can I do? I love it. I think that it's a little green. I would take back, see here, I'm looking at my greens and my aquas. That, for me, looks a little bit more natural, and I've brought it to life. I love the location, the shot, and everything. I want to do like a fashion photo shoot in there. How cool would that be? That would look amazing. I think that you put a vignette on here. I wouldn't have added a vignette to this image. I would want to see everything nice and crisp. But nice work. Dean Mendelawi. Long exposure at 8 seconds, 15 millimeters. Looks like train crossroad. Is that what we're going to go for? I think so. You've managed to get the tower in here. You really have managed to get this right. You've really managed to nail this. I like it a lot. Good work. I'm going to whip through some of these last photographs because I've been told by Rosie to wrap it up. Quit talking, Ed. Too much talking. Now, we haven't got through all the photos today, but got to get them in early because basically we upload them in the order that they come in, and that's what we look at. So I'm going to flick through a few more here that I'm going to go for. First of all, let's bring in this one of a dog. Look at that. How wide is this? Ooh. I don't know if this is a wide angle.
It says 21 millimeter.
Where?
In the name.
Okay, 20, really? Oh, f1.4. Okay, I was going to say that's a real shallow depth of field. So therefore, great. It's a little blurry. I think that you needed a faster shutter speed. But outside of that, it is a beautiful portrait of a dog. Look at the lighting, look at the key light through a window on the side. I mean, that is wonderful. So really great work there. I want to pull out a few others. I'm going to pull out this one. Why am I pulling this out? Because it's Helen Jenkins Knight, ladies and gentlemen.
She literally just wrote, I don't know if you got mine.
Yes, we did get yours, Helen. This is your cat, I'm guessing.
Oh.
We love cats. I mean, adorable. You've got a key light from above because you've even got lighting underneath the chin like it's from a beauty dish. This is like a beauty portrait. I would have loved it if you could have dropped in a gray piece of card behind the cat and then it would have actually been like a portrait shot. Yeah, you can see the catch light. This is like a portrait of a cat. You've even got shadows on the side. What?
Miley.
Miley the cat. Yeah, so whenever you do animal photography, what's awesome is if you drop in behind a background. Oh, in fact, go to, where is it? If you go to In Color Studios. Is it? I didn't post it. No. Go to In Color Studios. In fact, everybody pick up your phone right now. Go to In Color Studios on Instagram, and then there's an animal headshot. There's a photograph that I took last week of a very cute dog in the studio, and it's just got a background on it. I just love that photo because I think it's hilarious. I would bring it up on the screen, but I don't have access to it. Okay, let me come up here. A few more photographs just to, before we close. I like this last section where I just flick through and see what catches my eye. This caught my eye. I don't know what it is. Look at that. Nice use of wide angle lens to be able to get the action. I think it's over processed. I think you've added too much contrast and I think you've added too much clarity. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring down the contrast like so. Just like this. And actually I'm going to, the colors are a little vibrant for me. So I'm going to go to hue, saturation, luminance. Okay, inside PIC presets, and I'm going to select one in here. I'm going to select this one, Agfa Astia 100, and that's kind of helped to bring it to life. But I think it's the clarity which is pulling back that image, unfortunately. But great use of a wide-angle lens. I want to bring up this. I don't know what it is. Look at that. Okay, I actually want to talk about this. This is fantastic. Where'd it go? This is a portrait, a studio portrait on a wide angle lens, which has absolutely, completely distorted the feature of this perfectly. Fernando Arias, I'm so happy you sent this in. We have the key light, which is from the side, it looks like, and that's the fill. The key is from the front. It is lit wonderfully. I think you've added too much of a vignette. What's happened is the vignette has covered up the feet, you know? But even so, great example of how you can use wide angle lenses for portrait photography. It just ends up looking a little weird. And then there was one other one that I was going to bring up, but I can't find it now. What's this of a tree? Okay, this is that one of those famous trees, you know, and it gets all contorted? It's good, but I can't see the top of the tree, and that's the problem. If you want to show a tree, you've got to show the entire thing. Okay, we are done for today. Thank you for sending in your photographs. Next week's theme is, so you should all be going and looking at photos, In Color Studios on Instagram. You'll see that dog. Did we just post the dog photo? We just posted the dog photo on In Color Studios' Instagram, so go and check that out. But I want to go to Photos in Color on Instagram right now, see what next week's theme is. Boo. Drum roll, please. Can we do drum rolls? Thank you. Kev's doing the drum roll. And it is Golden Hour. Next week's challenge is Golden Hour. 57% of the people, so that means it must be shot during golden hour. There are 2 golden hours in the day. I will accept morning and evening. So that is just as the sun comes above the horizon and just before it goes down. No, just after it comes above the horizon before it goes down. So when everything goes golden. Remember, it doesn't have to be a photograph of the sun during golden hour. Take a portrait during golden hour. Something like that. Let's really make this interesting. But we're looking for gold. Really warm photography. Thank you so much for watching this week. Remember, go and check out the video that I just made about product photography. You can win one of these beautiful luxury watches from Oliver Lyon. The CES video is live. I've got more videos coming up on YouTube, so be sure to check those out. Also, if you want to do a meetup with me, or if you'd be interested in that, photosincolor.com, send me a message, and I'm going to start seeing if we can do that later this year. Let us know where you're from. Oh, and let us know where you're from as well, because then if lots of people are from Sweden, then I'll go to Sweden. If lots of people from India, then maybe I'll go to India. I want to go. You want to go? India. India! Woohoo! So yeah, we'll do something. Thanks so much for watching. This was Ed Gregory for photosincolor.com. Remember to like, share, and do all the good stuff with this stuff. Thank you to my team here. We've got Kev, who is checking in on the feed and selecting your photographs. We've got Ray, who is making sure that we get some great camera angles and all the good stuff there. We've got Rosie on questions. My name was Ed Gregory, and I will see you next week.